Yeah, I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Welcome everyone to Wednesday night here, round 2 of the Trio Series here at Suzuka, Octane Online Racing, Simrigs Series. Obviously, Suzuka, this free-round championship with the GT4s, GT2s, and the TCX class. Obviously, we had round 1 last week at Watkins Glen, and it was quite an ordeal. So looking forward to here on the other side of the globe in the Asia region of Suzuka. I'm Karen Fisselthwaite. Joining me tonight is Blake Griffiths and Mike Crick on the cameras as well. Blake, how are you tonight?
Yeah, I'm fantastic, thanks. I'm excited to be on stream. Excited to see some Suzuka action. I personally love Suzuka. I'm not liking what I'm seeing with those people off at Degner, though. Should be good. Hopefully a nice and clean race, a bit better than last week. I know we've made some adjustments to our starting protocol to get it a bit cleaner this time.
Yeah, good to hear. I think a lot of us like Suzuka on paper, but we do find it a bit of a struggle to drive as well. It is a very formidable track, obviously known for a long time from Formula 1. It definitely does suit the higher downforce nature, which is why we brought every class of car that has less downforce, the least amount of downforce in the game, relatively speaking. Obviously, bar the Carrera Cups, I imagine. But yeah, it should be a good race. Obviously, we got the GT2s, as you can see on screen. We've just got last minutes of practice now before we'll jump into qualifying. It'll be segmented qualifying, 10 minutes for each class. I believe we'll be starting with the GT2s first, then the GT4s, and then the TCX BMWs.
Yep, they're tuning it up and we're tuning it up as well. It should be a good race tonight. What times are we looking for the GT2s, do you think, Cam?
Difficult to say. To be honest, I can't even remember what the GT3s do around here. I think they're around the dead on 2 minutes, 59s for the very quick people, and dare say 58s, I think, even quicker than that. So GT2s pretty much matched the best, the quick GT3 times at Watkins Glen. And this track does kind of might lend itself to even more being in favor of the GT2s, because there are a fair amount of straights here, with the GT2s being pretty damn quick, less downforce, generally more power than GT3s as well. So we could see maybe, high 50s, around that 2 minutes. Obviously, there'll be a various qualities of driver. And we've got Mia Rose and I believe Fadley Rackmat from last week as well. So we should see some quick times. We'll see what Mia can do.
I hope to see them battling it out again and not seeing Rackmat get taken out by a random car on the track this time. It was a really interesting battle last week. So
absolutely. Quite unfortunate for him in the Maserati. He was doing a good job relatively recovering. See him now going to turn 1 now. Very tricky corner, very easy to lose a whole lap in just this one corner alone. I've never really managed to get it down consistently. And definitely there'll be right now with the free practice, everyone's on track. So he's got a GT2 Mercedes up ahead and also some more cars as well. So, right now you're gonna have to worry about traffic. Everyone's trying to do their own thing, but thankfully qualifying is segmented.
yeah, getting that first corner right is really important, and getting through the esses really quickly so you can get up around Dunlop at max speed. And that beautiful medley of colors you can see on the track map. Yeah, it's a bit of a mess out there.
Absolutely. Just to mention, along with the track map and on the timing board, the ready orange arrows on the corner of the numbers and the red dots on the track map denote the GT2s. The GT4s are marked with the dark blue segments, and then obviously for TCX is a sort of a teal color, I guess, as well. And obviously we've got the classes segmented on the timing board to the respective classes as well to try and make things a little bit more easier for us.
Yeah, and speaking of, I mentioned it just before, but we're going to be starting with a bit bigger gap between the classes at the start, just to ensure that nothing too spicy happens like last week. Ask Mr. Sonicus if you want to know about that. I think it was pretty much a whole class yellow flag, which was a bit unfortunate, but we should be seeing a cleaner start this time.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, the TCX pole man at Watkins of Jean-Pierre Sneakers did end up on his roof, sliding down. And, it was a little bit of circumstance to the track as well. Watkins Glen tend to be a little bit of a danger zone going up through the long bank curves onto the straights, especially in a pack. It's always, pretty difficult regardless. And obviously throwing a few mixed classes, a few GT4s mixed with the TCXs, it tends to happen. But like real life, I think we're gonna try and segment the class starts so that there isn't too much intermingling.
I think he ended up sliding about 1 kilometer or something. I heard it was a really, really far away.
Yeah, it was quite a way on his roof, and had no choice but to return to garage, and unfortunately that kind of spelled his race. And so hopefully we have a much cleaner start. See Damiano Fercolini here in the TCX BMW, part of the MRT gang with the sort of splashes of white on the
it's a smart livery. I like it. Kind of reminds me of like dunking Oreo into milk or something. I'm about it.
Yep. I think they've got a bit of a milk theme at the MRT guys. You'll see a few more of those cars, but with a different base color. Let me see. Oh dear,
it's a bit messy.
Yeah, a bit messy, and I believe they're teammates as well, the TCX, BMW, and the McLaren. So it might have been planned a little bit, and who knows. Yeah.
They said, okay, guys, it's time for sandwich formation.
Absolutely. So we've got a few minutes left now, and we'll be going into qualification. I believe we'll be having a set dry race. Don't have to worry too much about weather variation for this week at least. And I believe we have a mandatory pit stop for tires as well in the 6-minute race, but we'll get to that after qualifying. But it should be, hopefully this kind of split up the pack a little bit, maybe keep everyone a little bit out of their hair temporarily, because we know how if last week's anything to go by, yes, there's not enough cameras to unfortunately capture all the action.
Yeah, it should be interesting with the added wrench in the machine of the pit stops. Like, I guess on the plus side, if you're kind of in a bit of traffic, like different class traffic, you can pull in. But what happens if you end up in class traffic after you come out? It should be really interesting to see.
Absolutely.
Oh,
thank you to everyone.
Oh, yes, hot dog coloured.
Lovely Camaro. And the Maserati Josh McLaughlin is piloting. Great to see that thing out as well. Thank you everyone here in the chat. Obviously, middle of the week. You're halfway there down. We're qualifying. Weekend is nearly approaching us, so stick with it. And we'll hopefully bring some great racing for you tonight. And then we'll have, obviously, next week will be the final round of this championship series. And then we'll be due to start up our sprint season very shortly towards the end of the month. And for season 19 of the Simrigs Sprint Series, very much looking forward to that as well. See a pack here, the BMW, the KTM, the Mercedes, and another set of KTM. I think these KTMs are going to be very quick through the S's. We saw them and the Maserati kind of fight for honors of being the quickest GT2s. And then they're going to struggle down the straights a little bit. The KTMs, they are relatively underpowered, and unfortunately there's contact and crashes happening already in
Let's get it out in practice, guys. Get it out in practice.
Practice isn't long enough for them to get out of those systems.
Mia was on the grass there.
Yeah, Mia Rose going well. I'm sure it'll be a fight between Mia and Fadley Rakhmat again. This time around, Maserati versus KTM. They did a great job last week. To be honest, it's kind of irrelevant whoever qualifies on pole, because it's who survives the traffic. It's all about traffic management.
Who's your money on if you got to put the chips down, push them in?
It's hard to say, because Fadley unfortunately was scuppered with the incident last week, and it was. I'd probably put my money on Mia Rose, but I wouldn't put money on anything right now, not because of the drivers, but because of the variables at play with free classes right now. Nothing is predictable, I'd say.
Oh, come on, don't sit on the fence. I'm going Mia all the way. It's girl power time. Rat
understandable. Fadley does top the times right now. The Maseratis do look a bit stronger. Obviously, coming to car choice and speed, I think the Maseratis will have a bit more of an edge, mainly because there are a few more straights here than there are in Watkins Glen. It is a bit more of a power track, despite downforce being very important here. But we shall see what comes of it. Obviously, we've got Matthew Spinazzi, Moyen Taufik, Matt Nippers as well. A lot of very quick drivers in the GT2 class as well. It's got Aston Martin coming. It goes left. The car sticks to the right. We try and make sure everyone kind of does their line and let the faster cars pass. But obviously, it's a bit of a learning experience for some people. It's very different kind of racing, and hopefully, maybe it's a bit of practice for our upcoming Nürburgring 24 hours later this year.
Coming up to the end of practice, this should be very exciting. Taufik heading up to Kobayashi hairpin. Did you know it actually has a name? I was looking it up beforehand. It's not just called hairpin.
I've never heard anyone refer to it as Kobayashi's hairpin, but I do know why it is. But as far as I know, it's always been just a hairpin for me on all the sources I've seen. But yeah, I can understand the appropriate name of Kobayashi's hairpin, because I do remember watching that race back in 2010. Kamui made several passes into the hairpin, which was quite a sight to see. And back in 2010 in the what was the Sauber, known as BMW Sauber, but it was just a Sauber team, really.
Yeah, I believe he passed about 5 people in one corner, which is insanity in F1. Was it F1?
Yeah, it was F1.
My research wasn't that deep.
Yeah, but that was the year that I really properly started watching, and it was a great race to watch. Yeah, Kamui made I think about at least not sure about 5, but maybe about 3 or 4 quite late dives into that hairpin and made them stick all the way onto a points finish, which was obviously went down pretty well here in Japan as Jaden Rondinella finds the gravel.
Rondinella, it wasn't quite like that for Kobayashi, I don't think.
Nope.
Round spoon we go, double pink cars. Up the crest to 130R.
Yeah, as they went invalid as it went wide, and the session moves over. Thankfully, we can get on with things. So yes, first 10 minutes are going to be dedicated just to the GT2s. We'll see our references times, I'm sure. Good to see what's going on here. Probably about only about 5 or 4 time laps possible to get here. It is quite a long lap, and dare say it is going to be around the 2-minute mark.
I was
for
about
most
to
of
say,
these cars.
Let's get out there, ladies and gentlemen. You've only got a couple of laps to do it.
Yep. And obviously conditions might be changed a little bit from the previous session. There's sometimes it's good to go out a little bit later. Usually find let everyone go out at the start, and then I usually wait until they get halfway around, and then that I don't have to go and fish for a gap. But obviously making sure your pressure's in the right windows as well. Sessions are usually set quite different times, and the pressure and the changes in the temperature can be quite substantial. Better to take a moment just to adjust them first, otherwise they just don't work.
That's true. I guess I'm just a little bit excited, but you've got your out lap to do. Like, you're only going to end up with about 4 bites of the cherry.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone's it's like Epian wants to find a gap already, because inevitably everyone's just going to try and find a gap way too late in the session. So Mia has gone out straight away, which is being first out means you don't really have to find a gap, and you can do all the prep you want, really.
I think as well, if you know you're not going to be at the top of the pack, it's good to be a bit further back or like letting those people through. As a very average racer myself, I find that's a bit wise. Like, you know, you don't have to let people through in qualifying, but you do feel a little bit bad holding people up.
Absolutely.
And here we go, Jericho. We're going straight into it.
Oh yeah, for sure. No real time to do 2 warmed up laps, to be honest. As much as the tires don't really tend to work out on the first lap, I should say. They usually take a couple of attempts to get up to the. Oh yeah, absolutely. Got to get a banker at the very least, which is what the first lap can be. You probably wouldn't be abusing them terribly too hard because they are going to be not really up to their optimum windows. Tires in the ACC really seem to only come alive after the second. Onto the second push lap. The first lap, they never really in the prime windows. Ignore the invalid delta. You know, ACC doesn't. You know, it's a long-standing glitch in ACC. So this is a valid lap, I believe, still from Mia. As long as they stick all in the track. Indeed. Coming into the hairpin, probably nope, keeps it flat into the little kink beforehand, and then cranks the lock down into turn 1. Still using some TC, so not TC off. I think Fadley was using TC off when he was doing his qualifying attempts last time around, but we'll stick with Mir for this first lap. So now into spoon curves, turn 13 and 14. A good entry speed, but not too much, but well measured. And a good steady entry, not too squirrely, coming down onto the long straight before 130R.
Oh, love this view for the straight. It's great.
Oh, that might be invalid. I'm not sure. We'll see.
Remember on this track if it's not the whole green, is it?
You can go just out of the line, but I think they went a bit too far. But we shall see if this one. We'll see if anything bangs. If the best lap comes up in the top left, then it was valid still, and it wasn't. Yep, that was unfortunately invalidated. I dare say at 130R. It was a 2:05.
That's fast.
Yeah, it is
fast
pretty
for
quick.
An opening lap too.
Absolutely. Take solace if you know where the little mistake was. Then you know, we got a few more attempts. But only 5 minutes left.
Probably missing that arrow through there. Pretty bad.
Absolutely. Jenna Bonanella in the Mercedes GT2. I think the undisputed fastest car in the straights in this class. With the AMG pushing 700 horsepower. And unfortunately, whoever's behind him in the KTM is really suffering. But we see Moin Taufik has taken top position in the Maserati with a bad lap, a 2:08. Pretty quick. Was slower than what Mir achieved, but Mir did go outside of track limits, so we'll see how they can respond. And MK now nearly half a second up, coming up out of the S's through Dunlop curve, losing a little bit of time. Still plenty of places to improve as well. This is going to be a little bit more gaps. That's very wide. That's invalidated.
Oh no. It was looking a little bit scruffy through Degno.
Absolutely. EP Bunny. These KTMs are pretty popular. I can understand why. They're probably the more interesting out of all the GT2s for me. They're seem a bit more purpose-built, in my opinion, rather than just a road car with a wing.
I think KTM is literally just built for the track, like straight for GT2 racing.
Yeah, mostly the GT2s, absolutely. Like they are pretty much built just for that class. I'm not sure if you can actually get any of those in. Oh, they would have to be based on a road car, so they would have to homologate a few of them. We saw it go to a 2:03. So it takes the top step.
Yeah, I think. Do you see That person almost ran over an old lady at a crossing in one, and the lady refused to give way to it. Well, not give way because she was on a crossing; she had the right of way. But so they definitely are road cars too. With Rackmat, what can they get going on? What are they cooking? We're a second up on their previous time.
Yeah, not too sure what it's based on. Looks like an invalid lap the last, so the delta might be a little bit deceitful. Let's see, anchors on the brakes for the Casio triangle.
Oh, that's a lot. Oh. A lot of curb.
Definitely not clean. Oh, and then about the exit curb as well.
Surely that delta's not accurate.
No. Probably will still be a decent time though. It's still a very, very good time. It shows you how fast he was. Still a 2-minute .3, not enough to displace Mir, but considering the amount of time he lost at the hairpin, at the Casio triangle and the chicane, I think he's looking good for being one of the quickest in this session. But obviously, it needs to do the time.
Yeah, definitely time to be gained there. Could find themselves on pole for sure. Just need to clean up that Casio.
Yep, half a temp between Fudley and Roma.
Oh, that was very, very wide. Coming up on some cars pretty quickly as well. Giving way.
Doing a good job, get out of the way. Really close gap between Spinazzi and Underwood right now as well.
Oh, a lot of braking. Did we give up on that one, I think?
Yeah, he might be just setting himself up for the next one. Absolutely. You can abuse the chicane quite a lot. It is quite comical, I will say. You can four wheels inside of the white line on the apex, which I find is a bit of a joke, frankly. But it's just there for everyone.
GT2 pogo stick. It makes hurts my butt thinking about it.
Oh, that's gone. Oh, and that's ruined the next lap as well. Yeah, he just caught the lip.
There's no time. That's it for Pano.
His lap will be valid, and unfortunately now has to get away, so he's ruined. Unfortunately the next lap was already ruined just by having a bad exit. But we do have the time still left. Anyone on a valid can complete it, and if they cross just before the end of the 20-minute mark, they are entitled to finish that time. The GT4s will come out of the pits right on 8 o'clock, right on the 20-minute mark as well.
We have Rackmat going faster.
Yep, takes that top time. Not too surprising seeing how much time he had in the hand. I was going to say the Maserati does look good with the better, not suffering the woes of the straight line performance of the KTM. He is a little bit underpowered here. Oh, that's wide. Oh no, that's invalidated. And that'll be it for Taufik, I believe. Might come in and do a practice pit stop entry. It's always worth doing.
I heard he should ask Jamie Convoy about pit entries.
You can't say I brought it up this time, so well done. You're the one who's going to be under fire for that.
I'll take it.
Yeah. See, Nipper is here, 2 tenths up, doesn't catch that curve, doesn't get bounced off, losing a little bit of time, but might be enough to take. It's a lot of position to be gained, but a small amount of gain. And goes up to P6. Also close between Slade, Nippers, and Underwood. Sean Bubb now goes 10th in the Maserati. And, oh yes, I just had to watch out. The GT4s are having to come out in the pit lane, so people better watch out where they park up. You can see all the GT2s now out on the track map. Byron here.
Improving on his time, in their time, sorry. But still going to be back at the grid for GT2.
Yeah, should be safe enough from the GT4s still. think we saw a 10-second difference between the GT4s and the GT2s for the fastest ones in each respective class last at Watkins Glen. Let's see what comes on here. I believe it was Joshua Holmes, indeed. I think it was Lucas Keys who won it outright and also did the fastest lap in qualifying for GT4s. So they'll be one to watch. And they'll be starting their first valids now. It's already taken 2 minutes and 10 seconds just to get around the lap even for the GT4s. So gonna have maybe one less lap than the GT2s. And that's it's a lot of speed, very wide.
Yeah.
Same for the car behind him as well. Everyone's kind of going for a little bit, inexperienced, taking the speed in. It's always a bit intimidating on the first lap, but it is the first lap, frankly. Got a few more bites of the cherry. I believe the Jeanette behind him did the exact same thing, just a bit too much speed. Don't have the downforce. You really suffer for it here. Through Degner 2 now. Not sure if he managed to, I think he still kept within the white lines at the turn 2, so this lap should be still valid, and it's good to just get a banker on the board at the very least.
Yeah, definitely. I think that was clean. Looked pretty tidy. Is this like a Buzz Lightyear inspired livery? What's going on?
Yeah, I do. I know what you're saying with that. It is of his colors. Sometimes with oh no, sorry, that's Jaden. I'm thinking of, not Josh Holmes. I was going to say a different car. Can't really make the joke now, otherwise it wouldn't be. It's not really continuous. But yes, we do know. I'll shoehorn it in. We can say, maybe Josh Holmes with the speed he has. Sometimes he can go to infinity and beyond.
I thought you were going to make a light speed joke, to be honest. That was actually better.
I was going to make a reference. I forget he's not Jaden Rondinella and he won't send a car to... anyway, whatever.
Oh, I'm getting confirmation from chat. Josh is a big Buzz Lightyear fan. Their sources trust me, though.
Yeah. Benjamin
right.
Hignett would never lie.
What have we got for Josh?
2:10 and a half.
2:10.6.
Dare say there'll be a bit more time in that one, but looking at that 10-second gap.
A much tidier first corner from Josh.
Porsche Cayman's always been a pretty solid car as well in this in the GT4 class. See,
how about that Janetta though? Oh, it's been sideways. Tokyo Drift.
I was gonna say, sometimes a bit of slip angle is the fastest way through the corner, but I don't think that was a quick sector 1 from Carl Johnson. That might be to the frustration of Michael Babb. TC off, I'm not too surprised. I think he's maybe just showboating at this rate. Maybe just giving Michael Babb a bit of a
right in those side mirrors too. Oi.
I can't imagine the Janetta will be going too well around here. Definitely comes to the straight bits, is quite well known to be quite underpowered as well. And, not helped by a pretty old gearbox homologation, which means it does find the rev limiter at 240, I'm pretty certain, or 260. Don't think they'll be hitting out here, but definitely missing the grunt out the straights. And good. Carl, what are you doing?
I can't tell from the camera angles or what, if we're just, a bit slidey all over the place, or... Hillside.
Marconi Turnpike's over there, Carl. See, Lucas Keys, Mr. Fast, Mr. Boring. Always P1. In the Aston Martin, obviously can't drive anything other than the Aston Martin manufacturer.
It feels
Unless
a little bit personal.
A little bit. No, everyone's a bit personal with Lucas Keys. Those who know. So
Color me out of the loop because I do not know.
Don't worry, you don't want to.
All right.
What was the B1? 209.8 from Lucas Keys.
He says that's enough. He's packing it up.
He might have time. He will have time to go out again and just rush out the pits with a 2:10 outlap. Or be able to do one more lap. But maybe that's all he needs to do. I think Logan Burton in the AMG GT4 coming up through Dunlop curve. Sort of like a little bit wall of death out there. It might as well be a wall on the exit of that, because as soon as you put two wheels in that grass, you are never getting it back.
Using all the track and more out of Degner too. Get it stopped, get it around there. A little bit wide on the apex.
Going well so far. P3 in class, 210.3. See if he's got any time in this lap. The Ginetta failing the apexes again. Sorry, Carl. On for a better lap this time around. He's sticking with the TC off strategy. And we know, TC just slows you down in ACC, it seems, for 90% of the cars. His 410's up right now. See how he takes 130R. Coasts it in pretty well. Not too bad. And gets it stopped for the Casio hairpin. Left and a right, and a little bit of a correction. Rides the curb, and unfortunately has lost all the time in the world, sadly.
Oh, that didn't look too bad.
Yeah, it didn't look too bad, but I think maybe might have been a bit conservative on his brakes and lost, unfortunately, the 410s he had in the lap. So he's got one last go at it before the TCX classes are let loose on the track. You see Ramesh here in the Pit Viper GT4 Cayman. Coming around Spearing Curve. A little bit wide, losing a little bit of time, but still time in the lap. Very popular car that came in the GT4 class. You can understand why it's the nice mid-engine Porsche. Very well balanced, very quick, and decent on the straight.
There's a few shining stars in each class, isn't there?
Yeah.
Are they allowed to change car between the races, or are they locked into the car that teams choosing?
I think they're locked in, because we are doing a sort of a mini championship across the 3 rounds, a team championship. So I think you probably could change car if you asked nicely, but you probably lose the points from the previous rounds. So I don't see anyone who's really changed car that I can recall. But we'll let someone answer that, and that's a day done for Ramesh in P28, 10th in class, so slap bang in the middle. It's always, that's respectable. As I always aim for to be in the top half.
Yeah, improved by 6/10 of a second. Is that correct? 0.6.
Yeah, good improvement. See Carl here still taking with TC off.
Come on, Carl.
6/10. See how he tackles the Casio hairpin. See if he a little bit more brave and gets it stopped a bit later. He's got lots of time in hand. 5th in class, and should get a good amount. Should get ahead of Michael Babb if he retains this delta. Losing a bit of time though. He must have absolutely nailed the chicane on the previous lap, because he's only goes slower on these last 2 laps. But still where's this gonna put him? And just pips Babs. Nicely done.
Dodging the M2 on the way out.
Yep. Just behind Burton. Yeah, a bit more of a field spread in the GT4 class and the gaps. It's there is a bit of a stretch. Was see Braid here. Was that is only valid, and there's a 14 dead, which puts him in 16th in class in in the McLaren 570S as well.
So which car is your favorite in the TCX class?
Anything but the BMW M2 CS.
I'm so sorry. We've only got BMW M2s.
I've only driven this car once. I didn't really enjoy it.
I was about to say just no comment. No comment.
What DLC does this come in? It came in the Challenges DLC. I think I bought that DLC just to have the new Audi GT3. Which is a waste of money at this rate because that car's just bobbed to hell now anyway, so thanks, fam. Yes, it was included with the, I believe, the second gen Super Trofeo Lamborghini and the 488 Challenge Evo and the second gen Carrera Cup. A little mini DLC of 5 cars. But I probably wouldn't dislike the car. I'm a GT3 elitist.
I mean, that's fair. We are playing the GT3 car game.
Yeah.
You don't go to Outback Steakhouse and order a pasta, do you?
I prefer pasta to steak.
I'm not gonna lie, I would do the same thing. I just thought it was a good analogy.
Yeah, it was a good analogy. You just asked the wrong person, sadly.
Yeah! Unfortunately, both the people in the comms booth would order a pasta at Outback Steakhouse.
Pasta rocks. I don't care.
Unashamed pasta lover.
Pasta's cheap and filling. Times are hard.
Yeah. Why do you think, what was that guy's name? Curtis Stone's, the $10 meals is always like spaghetti.
Feed your family on sawdust for only $3.
Sawdust sausages, let's go. Okay, back to the racing. And to
lamb burgers and pork sausage for lunch.
I actually ordered in Japanese curry for dinner. Bit of a treat.
See, I'd rather talk about food than TCX class, so I'm very sorry.
This is a bit of neglect. People last time in chat were like, we're not seeing any of the other classes, and we're not really helping them out by talking about dinner instead of the laps that are happening.
Alright, here we go. Chris Murphy rapids out the last corner right now with about 3 horsepower this car has. What time is he going to do? The first valid for Chris Murphy, Porsche champion, as we know, in Fruit Bowl. And does a 17.8, only 3 seconds behind the slowest GT4, and the next lap is gone.
Yeah, and surpassed by Babby and Death.
Yep, Sasha Death. John Pierre shoots to the top as you would expect.
Jean-Pierre needs some redemption for last week. That was ugly business.
Well, I told him he can join the comms booth, after the first lap because he won't finish it.
What, this race?
Yes.
I believe.
See, if he finds himself on the roof here, that is a little bit more. I'll be more impressed than it was at Watkins.
I believe. We've got the gaps this time. It shouldn't be that ugly.
Where there's a will, there's a way. Rapidly closing in on the car ahead of him right now. Might get scuppered on this lap a little bit. It does look like he has finding more time in the lap. And, it's kind of worryingly close to the GT4s, I will say.
History repeats itself.
I mean, he's probably about 150 horsepower down on the M4 GT4s. Like, he's only 2 seconds off. Everyone's got their own level. John Pierre's just at that freakish level.
I was going to say, we're talking about like an alien level driver here.
I'm not esports. faces esports drivers, and he's not here to counter-argument me. See, Sasha Def in another one of the MRT cars, the yellow car with the white splotches. It looks cool, but it does look very suspicious at the same time.
It's just milk. It's just cookies and milk. Don't worry about it.
Yes.
Sasha Death coming through. Half a second quicker. Set P2. Very lovely.
Looks like Peach had to get out of his lap to get a big gap. And should get 2 more valid laps in. Won't be too happy if he catches the same car again in just this lap, I imagine. See Gamble here. And no TCX, no TC for TCX it seems as well. It shows you how much I do my research on these cars.
I believe they don't have it at all, do they?
Yeah. Still packing about 235 horsepower, I believe, in these cars. They're not that slow. They're just, I think, relative to the other cars in the game. Everything feels slow compared to the GT3s.
If you drove one of these in real life, you'd be having a ball. But when you're comparing it to the rocket ships, you'll feel a little bit slow.
I think I prefer Genetas as a one car race series, I will say.
I'm very partial to the MX-5 Cup personally.
Oh yeah, I'd say MX-5 if we had them in game. Damiano for Colini here now. Only half a second off. We got 2 Babbies, which is worrying. We got a Babby in GT4, Michael Babby, and we've got G Babby in TCX. And so, we kind of, I don't know. Michael, it feels weird to say Michael Babby. Everyone knows it's Babby, so we'll just have to deal with it.
I mean, it's different classes. We'll get over it. Is there a relation there, though?
No. I believe G Babby is quite new to OOR as well. And, they're proving pretty quick as well, straight out the box. Damiano now. Nice use of the exit curb of Spoon, the first part of Spoon, and gets it nicely turned in for the second part. 6/10 up right now. It's a cracking lap so far.
Using all of the track there is lovely.
Widen the line to reduce the angle of attack, which in turn lets you carry more speed. Let's see if it gets a stop.
Casio.
Oh no!
Early turn in. No. Oh, it's bleeding away.
Yeah, thankfully it was enough to recover some partially. It wasn't a complete loss of time, but he is. Oh my god, is he going to get another lap? Oh, I think yes, he will. He will get another lap. He just crossed as it went 0. I think 1 second before it went 0. Oh, don't tell me he just goes off now immediately. Nope. I think he's still in it.
What?
Nice 4-wheel drift exit. Yep. Well, he knows he's got 2 temps in the Casio triangle if he makes it, but he looks like he is. It's really starting to send it now, and it is starting to scrub a little bit. It's G Babby takes the top position so far in TCX. This lap doesn't look like it's going to plan. 4 tenths down. We'll see how if Peach can respond. He is 1.5 tenths down on his best, so it's not going well so far.
Alright, we got a bit of track left. It's not over yet.
Yeah. You do have to kind of boil down. There is this qualifying session is going to be irrelevant by the end of lap 1 anyway.
No.
Well, it's going to be irrelevant by the time the GT2s come round for the first laps, which is actually pretty quick. Because it only took them about 10 minutes to catch up to the TCXs last week. And yes, hopefully people have learned some lessons from last week as well.
Yeah, hoping to see a little bit more patience this time. Like we've experienced the marvel of multiclass racing last week. It was a little bit peeling off. We've had enough. But yeah, I'm hoping to see a little bit of a cleaner race this time. So Rackmet going fastest overall by a hair and a whisper over Mia Rose. And Taufik in P3 for GT2. Got Lucas Keys, P1 of GT4, Joshua Holmes, P2, and Burton, P3. And we've got Babby P1, TCX, Sonicus P2, and Death P3. That's a very metal name.
Yes, indeed. So yeah, we'll see our race director. I wonder how they'll space things out tonight. But yes, hopefully gap things out a little bit.
I believe they're just trusting the front and back of the packs to space it out a bit for them. I believe we're looking for 8 to 10 car lengths.
Yeah, it should be sufficient. We shall see. But 60-minute race, gonna be one mandatory tie stop, and for all classes. So a little bit of variation in there. And we've got all these lovely liveries as well. And if everyone is showing up, massive grid as well. I have to remember 49 cars. Thankfully, a pretty large track for them to all try and occupy the same places.
It will be a little bit tricky. There's a few places that are difficult to pass, particularly looking at like the esses. Hopefully, as I said, we can get a bit of that patience tonight. Cam, what's your favorite livery on the grid?
Don't know, to be honest. None of them spring to mind.
I am very partial
nothing with Red Bull on it, that's for sure.
Oh no. Get that off the screen. I am partial to the Pit Viper digital camos. They're very nice.
Yeah, I believe there will be another Benjamin Hignett job, I imagine. I don't know. Hard to say, because I haven't really seen all of them as well at the same time. Yeah, I'll just stick with anything but a Red Bull adorned car.
Some really terrible camera work. All right, we're almost there. Form up, ladies and gentlemen. Callum, what's wrong with RB? I don't know. I'm just going along for the ride. Do you know who the Oz team is? So Heck is saying they like them, but they're biased towards them.
Yeah, I get the feeling that's one of the Oz team members. Not Captain Obvious with that hunch. But yes, we've got a few of them racing in this series. I don't remember which was out. There's a fair few teams out there. But yes, should be going well. 29 track and 22 ambient, so pretty normal temperatures, I will say. Be interesting to see how they get off the line. I think Mia Rose is going to have to watch for Moin Taufik off the line with the speed of the Maserati. See, Lucas Keys is going to have Joshua Holmes all over the back of him as well off the start, as well as Logan Burton and Byron just in front of him. Obviously, there will hopefully be a gap between the respective classes. There's one of the Oz team members, Glory Babby. Look out for the sort of bronzy gold and green cars. Oz team. There we go. Yeah.
I do feel like
green
we could
and
have a bit more contrast between that green and gold, personally. Although I did get made fun of my livery when Academy was on cameras, so maybe I'm not the person to ask.
Dear dear. Ah well, it all happened. So it's just great to have custom liveries in the game as well. I remember we used to not have them, and now it's sort of like a little extra avenue for everyone to kind of show off their talents in the game.
Yeah, you see some really wonderful stuff. And it's like, oh, I just thought you were just my racing friend, and apparently you're a designer too.
Yeah. It is great, man. It is, yeah, like the little Nescafe, the Renault Lagunas.
Alright, we're back in double file. Get excited, everyone.
Yeah. I think we don't go green for a fair bit down the straight. And I think we'll be doing things a bit more manually than we normally do. Hence probably why we've gone double fire a bit earlier than normal.
Yeah, hopefully it gives them a bit of time to establish those gaps.
Yep, and everyone trying to stick to 80, I believe, as well. You can see the gaps forming there between the classes. Hopefully that will be a little bit more of a precaution to avoid any carnage. So get ready to go double file. It's obviously a bit tricky. It'll gap up through the chicane, but that's helps with the start line being a bit further down the field. It's not necessarily this one that's coming up. It's a little bit further down, so the green start won't initialize for a while.
Yeah, well, it's good. Everyone should be on the straight or just coming onto it.
Yep, as we're about to go green, race start should initialize now, and they are green and going. Looks like Gabriel Slego, a good start in the pink Audi, but is stuck behind Moing Taufik in the green Maserati, who loses out of position.
Oh,
and
no!
Dear, there's a car
no.
and it fires across, and thankfully both of them find the gravel and out of the way as well for the rest of the field coming through, but unfortunately we haven't escaped any danger.
I believe P1 and P2 collided as well right at the beginning, but I think they're both fine.
Yeah, looks like they're still going okay. Lucas Key.
Mia ahead.
Mia has got the lead, followed by Rakhmat, and then I believe Spinaze and Nipper is in just behind them. That takes a second or two. We're coming up to the end of the first sector line, then the timing tower should update. So they head now into Degna 1 now. It's all going on with a GT4 BMW in the midst of all the BMW M2s. Thinking, what are you doing here? As looks like maybe Jean-Pierre Sinikas has gotten the lead so far of TCX. And oh no, Glory Babby out of TCX pole position. As it looks like one has come amok and has fallen down the field as well. It's very unfortunate for Glory. It's still going a bit of damage, and it's a long race. A lot can still happen.
I mean, it was a better start than last week. I will take it.
Oh yes, much better. And you know we can't. Yeah, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Just because we put gaps in the field doesn't mean it's going to be completely safe.
I do want to see what happened with that sort of mid-pack GT2 collision that took them all the way off the track.
Looks like there was a KTM that was fired into the inside barrier and then rebounded off into another car. Kind of like Felipe Massa's crash actually in 2010 as well. As Nipris now has got Moy and Taufik all over the back of him in the orange. It's followed by the green Maserati. And
Side by
Talpic trying to come around the
side.
outside. Space is given. Nippers retains the inside line, but the mine is just ahead. Where is he? Where is he? And unfortunately, he's understeered out, and Nippers retains the position as well. Wow.
Wasn't going to let him have that one.
No, he had a good old crack, did mine around the outside. It is very difficult to make it work, though. Can be done. And short Nippers has got to try and run away as much as he can, because you saw the speed of that Maserati. Obviously, once it gets a bit of a draft as well, it becomes even more of a threat for these KTMs.
Where are our best places for overtakes at Suzuka, Cam?
Oh, definitely, obviously, turn one with the good punch. Arguably, even 130R with a good run out of Spoon Curve is also a good attempt as well. If you're really brave, maybe into the hairpin, but everyone tends to get things wrong with the right corner here, going side by side through that corner gets people really unstuck. And you'll see Logan Burton ahead of Josh Holmes in the Mercedes. You see Lucas Keys has already got himself a fair old gap as well on these two.
You have to have a bit of trust in your fellow racer to get by in a corner like the hairpin. Kobayashi hairpin.
Absolutely. I think there's going to be, once the other cars start to come in and start lapping these ones, it's all going to be about traffic management and playing it smart, as there's a lot of positions to be gained, catching cars at the right time and not losing too much time, but catching them at the wrong moments. So you see Sasha Def in the TCX class, leading the TCX class. So actually, I was wrong about Jean-Pierre taking the lead. So it is Sasha Def leading up the BMW class. Jean-Pierre has got Brimmelkamp all over the back of him. We've got a couple of a GT4, I believe, a couple of GT4s in the midst of these TCX cars as well. Herbert and Williamson.
Sonic is sweating right now with that mix of cars.
Yep. He's sweating with
Rose
the driver
also
behind
just
him.
did a fastest lap. There's only half a second off their qualifying time, which is pretty amazing.
Indeed. Yep. Can afford to go a bit harder on the tires this race, unlike last week. See, Liam K, I think that was the KTM that we saw fired off, is coming through the TCX class as well, as you see Regan Herbert get ahead of Jean-Pierre Salikas, as he should, in the bigger brother BMW.
Yeah, it's didn't realize that was the GT4. They're not actually that different looking when you're not that familiar.
Yeah, they're a little bit longer. They got a bit more of a wheelbase. Still got an inline 6, and those M4 GT4s are pretty rapid down the straights, I will say, as well. They got quite a bit of poke. Yes.
Sonic is still keeping another one behind. No, we haven't updated yet.
No, yeah, he's got a T6 behind. Oh, the two GT4 BMWs have come together ahead of Williamson and Herbert. It looks like Williamson was having a bit of a slide, and unfortunately Regan Herbert has come in, crashed into him as a result as well. Not too sure what happened there. Oh, he gets clobbered from the inside curb and is completely messed up the Degners. And unfortunately, Regan Herbert was just trying to get through, really. He didn't really do anything wrong there. And thankfully, he didn't. He's just going to have some fender damage at the most. As you see, the GT2 KTM is coming through the field as well. And unfortunate there for Regan Herbert. That's not really on. Fairly racked out with a 2-minute dead point 6. So going very quickly as well. I wonder if we'll see some track limits. We're seeing a few cars go wide at 130R as well. Won't be too surprising with the lack of downforce of some of these cars. Be another element in this race, as you see the GT2 Maserati absolutely fly past the GT4 Maserati. Looks like that was the other car that was involved in that first corner crash in GT2 class. It was the Rando.
Lot of distance to make up all the way back there.
Yeah, looks like Nippris has fallen to Moin Taufik. So the Maserati gets ahead, and now it's got to be on alert because of the Audi of Kafil Slade.
Slade's all over the back of them.
Yeah, the Audi's very quick down the straight to see. It's got to get closing. It's got the draft, got the speed, got the V10. Won't surely not make a move from here. Hopefully he's learned his lesson from had a bit more patience from last week. But
I didn't want to say it.
Well, didn't need to say it. We all saw last week. Yeah, it happens as long as we learn from these things. But yeah, the Audi is so much quicker.
Yeah,
Twice the cylinder count of the KTM. Oh my God, it looks like he just let him pass. Oh my goodness, they both tried to turn in. Understandably, the corner was right there. And oh my goodness.
Looks like he seeded that back, which, yeah.
Could have been a plane crash, frankly, with two cars still going straight. It's quite a miracle in itself.
Yeah, I'm glad to see they're both still on the tarmac after that. But Slade knows they can get it done there. Just needs to be a little bit tidier.
Absolutely. He's got so much more speed in the Audi, which is a KTM. It's just not very quick down the straights. I'd like to turn your attentions to the track map. We can see the red of the GT2 class going through the S's. And you can see the sort of teal of the TCX class just coming through the end of the hairpin. So give it a couple more laps and they're going to be already starting to negotiate the traffic. And that's when things go from mad to even madder. See Zach Jensen now in the Chevrolet Camaro with the Red Bull GT4 Air. Looks like someone's gone off ahead of him. Hopefully he just cleanly rejoins the track, not in too much of a way. It looks like one of the Porsche, I think that was Ramesh.
Looks all good and all fine. Nice safe rejoin.
Yeah, just going by it. It's yeah, not. These cars are generally not what most of us norm. You know, used to racing somewhat, some more than others, and I'm sure everyone's kind of trying to feel their way into things a little bit. Jean-Pierre Sneakers looks like he's eating away at that gap at Sasha Def. There we go. You can see the car just ahead now and has broken away from Sean Brimblecombe as well. Well, we know how quick Page is once he finds his footing, and looks like they're just on the back of Williamson as well.
Glad to see Page on all four wheels. It's an improvement for him.
A little bit two-wheel action, I imagine, at this Degner one, but still all four wheels. Still, without a complimentary sunroof at the end of this lap one.
Yeah, I mean he's got an average of more than two wheels at least on track, so we're winning.
Absolutely, up to 30 degrees now, so not exactly cool out there. So it looks like the GT4 BMW going a little bit wide. And, yeah, no one can say that we're. Oh yes, I think they've already caught him at this rate, unfortunately. Let's see the
Turning
GT2.
back to GT2, Harry Murphy.
It's like Underwood.
Underwood all over the back of him. Can he hold out to get to those straights and get away in that Maserati? Let's see.
Oh. I think Underwood's got a few maybe connection blips, and hopefully
don't mind me just trying my teleportation jutsu.
Yeah. Ooh, Fanny Rackmat is on the back of me at 2/10 gap, and we've already seen what the Maserati's like in the draft of a KTM. It's a bit like bringing longbows to a cavalry fight, frankly. I think they're already starting. The TCXs are just up the road, so as they're just about to fight, there's a TCX there, so they can't even go side by side into 130 yard. They play it safe, they play it smart, and Fadley caps a little bit of inside curve and goes a little bit wider, and hopefully he didn't get a track limit for that one. Makes the the chicane a bit deep on the brakes. Good showcase of car control.
getting all twisted up there. There'll be more opportunities, but it's going to be a little bit spicy coming up to these M2s. Speaking of.
Through the esses, they were already saying in Sector 1 was going to be really painful. And it looks like it is the case. It's already starting to happen. Oh, Mir gets attacked from the GT4 and tags sorry, not the GT4, one of the yellow TCX. And has to try and bump the other one, just trying to catch the car. So he managed to get through, and it looks like Fadley has got completely boxed in as well. So we say ebbs and flows. Absolutely. Mir got boxed in, then it happened to Fadley, so it's all fair in war and peace.
Love and war.
Yeah, love and war. That's it. One potato.
Yeah, I think.
Speaking of boxed in. This looks like a recovering TCX.
Maybe because we're the first of the GT2 field, we're catching a lot of these M2s by surprise. They're like, oh, there's someone really fast behind me, didn't realize. Hopefully it gets a little bit nicer as we go on.
Yeah, well, we'll see. It's just, I think, the nature of this track with how much the lines kind of converge from left to the right of the track. It's just... Unfortunately, it's just it's a case of getting boxed in. It's okay, I think, when you find one car by itself, but when there's a couple close together, like we saw, it's a little bit it can be a little bit tricky and lead to the examples we saw. They've cleared probably like the second half of the TCXs was a few more up the field, a bit more spaced out. So the battle for the outright lead continues, and should displace this TCX pretty carefully. Very nicely, easily. See the fight now for P2 in the GT4 class. As Logan fence off Joshua Holmes and Carl Johnson, but Lucas Key is not getting away from things. He's still just there, 2 seconds ahead. So definitely not out of the danger zone. We'll see Matt Nippers has already served his mandatory stop and is obviously fallen behind as a result into some of these GT4s, but I'm sure he'll quickly displace them as well. But an interesting early stop there from Matt Nippers.
Yeah, definitely. We've got another one in. What's the vibe there, do you think? What's the thinking?
To be honest, I don't think it really matters I don't think he would have pitted just to get out of danger, because there's got to be no gaps in the field anywhere throughout this whole race. Those first 10 minutes were pretty much the only time there was going to be gaps between the classes. See Fadley far at the inside of the TCX BMW, and going to be coming up to, places it nicely. He knew he was going to go to the apex, so he held it around the outside, goes a little bit deep, but pulls it off pretty well.
A lot of faith there to take that inside. I mean, you would take the right, but it's so hard to judge. It's like, are they going to move? Are they going to stay where they are?
Yeah, which is kind of, it's that little bit of second guessing, it's all the foreshadowing, and oh dear.
We got a
drive through for Dylan McDowell for speeding in the pit lane for Dylan McDowell. That's quite unfortunate. But it's I think it's why a lot of drivers want the slower cars to just stick to their lines, because that way they can predict where they're going to go. It's when they kind of try to get out the way and try to, sometimes they try to be helpful, try and get out the way. That's when things get a little bit tricky. We just want predictability is what everyone wants from the lap cars. You see a fight now between Ramesh and Zach Jensen.
Don't care about Dan Madden in the back there. It's a tight little battle pack.
Absolutely, the Aston Martin as well. Great to see 3 different manufacturers all fighting for it. As Dan Madden goes for the alternate line to try and get the nose up the inside. Zach gives him space, and he's going to have an inside line and run up to Dunlop, but he's going to be on the outside for Degner 1, so it should be Zach Jensen's to lose. And retains the position as a result, but a good effort from those two, and good room given from Zach Jensen as well.
Yeah, lovely little bit of racing there. We're back to a bit of a smorgasbord on the track map in terms of colours.
I would say it's like Skittles, but they don't really have teal colours.
Skittles? Yeah, we'll go with it. Lewis to the pits.
Yeah, a few people are choosing to whether. Obviously, it might be a bit earlier for tires. Probably you want to do 50-50 ideally, but maybe some people kind of taking an earlier stop just in case they got their starting pressures wrong. You can take sacrifice a bit of your, a bit of a longer run on the second stint. But if they're in better pressure, in the right tire pressure windows, then it's going to be a lot better than driving, your first stint with them all out of sorts. Stop and go 30 seconds for speeding the pit lane for a car 12, so yeesh. Yep. And another one for speeding in the pit lane for car 66 as well.
No.
It's not just the cars that people not used to. I think it's the pit mechanics. Dylan McDowell with the drive-through. It does vary on whether you get a drive-through or a stop go 30 is varied on how much you speed by. Either way, it's a bad day. It's a bad day in the office.
I was always told you got to practice the pit entry. Your race can be made or broken, mostly broken, at the pit lane. Ask Jamie Convoy.
Can't say it's me for once. You can't say it's me.
There was a lot of peer pressure. Okay.
Yeah. We're all nice to Jamie. He just thinks we're all mean. It's all in his head.
I don't know. Love you, Jamie.
Yeah.
Keeping up that pressure on Rose. Still only about half a second.
I saw Mir was very good in the traffic at the last race as well. Just kind of picking the right moments.
Is Spinaze's time? There it is. So once again, these two have taken off from the rest of the pack. They've said, first and second is for us, you guys can fight for third. Have the scraps.
Yeah. I think Taufik might be maybe just with these guys as well, but unfortunately got a bad start. You can see he's already on the back of Spinazi as well after dealing with Niporus. So we'll see what Taufik can do. He might have a bit of a challenge to try and close that gap, but the multi-class traffic does come into a factor as the KTM goes to the outside line where the BMW is already there, so I'm not too sure what that's about. There's loads of space on the left. You come through now. Not sure even which KTM that is, frankly.
McDowell?
Is it McDowell? Yeah, it might be actually.
Yes.
Well, hopefully they get through the traffic cleanly. Because not saying it happens to them, but it's just like, a few drivers, if you get like a drive through, sometimes they, if something goes wrong, some drivers just let the red mist descend, and then unfortunately some drivers caught out as a casualty. As you see Fadley's all over Rose, so I think maybe Rose either had a bit of a moment or just got caught up with another car, and
traffic maybe.
A few more cars to catch as well. Interesting. It's like, we try to look at all the classes, but it's we've got 3 classes to watch. I think people understand, but we've been having a look at the leads of GT4s and the TCXs, so no one can say that's we haven't been doing that.
I think it's been a bit more balanced this time. Last race out, it was pretty GT2 focused. No slander on anyone. But yeah, I think my coverage is doing a nice job.
Yeah, it's not too easy.
No, definitely not. I mean, it's almost a 60 car field. Was it 49?
Yeah, I think
there's going to be a lot of battle packs, a lot of things to see.
So GT4 KTM gets bullied out the way a little bit.
Yeah, giving them a lot of space. Doesn't want any of that business.
You think the GT2 KTM is slow on the straights? You should drive that GT4. That thing is pretty underpowered. Bradley's got to run. He doesn't have the downforce, especially being this close to the car ahead through 130 yards, so it doesn't really have an opportunity to go into chicane, and doesn't look as, you know, kind of good on the brakes as well as the KTM as well. Coming now down the straight, it's a good exit from Miros as well. Managed to gap the Maserati a little bit.
Yeah, I think Mia just had a bit of a better run through there than Rackmat.
Yeah. A brief break from the traffic, but we've got a few more cars up the hill, a few of the GT4s, and I think Dylan McDowd is also in that as well, the blue KTM GT2. We do thank our partners and patrons, Simrigs for helping us keep the lights on, and thank you to everyone in the Patreon as well, and thank you to everyone who volunteers their time putting on these series. Hit the like button, we do appreciate it, and let us know what you think of the series. You want to see more of it? What more do you want to see? And we're obviously trying to get feedback on what people want to do with their time. So we all like to go racing, as they got a lot of cars to negotiate, as the the TCX is in the middle as well. Wanted to turn into the Apex.
Last second.
Yeah. Thankfully, that TCX saw the GT2s coming. Wanted to turn him, but there was going to be a car. It was going to be a crash if he did. And oh my goodness, Fadley right up close to the crash line as well.
Fadley has a lot more trust in these M2s than I would. Oh,
Yep.
we're a bit wide.
Yeah, it's just
Spoon
gone.
is a tricky one. It's one. I'm not an expert at Suzuka. I'm an academy driver. Hey ho. Spoon is one that throws me a little bit. You're kind of like breaking in, coasting, and then kind of getting around there. It's tricky to get it right every time.
You want to use that exit curve after the first left-hander. You want to ideally be out there as wide as you can, but not so wide that you're gonna get drawn out there. Because if you, it's Fadley's power sliding out of the corner. You want to be out as wide as you can, but not so much that you can't get the car to come back, because it helps with your entry into the second part of the spoon curve. And the second part of the spoon curve is quite difficult as well, because you do have to get very early on the throttle, and it's really at the tiptoe balance of the car, obviously depending on the class. The Cayman having to negotiate as Michael Babb. This is like he's just trying to do his own line, and he's just going to have to deal with the cars. Bradley gets out of it as
He gets way out of the way.
Yep.
Not sure.
Not sure which car that was, to be honest. Yeah, it was Babb. I think.
Not sure Bab needed to do that. I mean, it's nice of them, but
I don't think he would have done it
line.
intentionally.
Might have got a bit spooked. Now he's got McLaughlin all over his behind. Sorry, Bushel.
Yeah, Mark Bushel in the Alpine. Nice to see the Alpine here.
I was gonna say, isn't the Alpine quite a nifty little car in this class? I'm surprised there's not a few more.
Yeah, I think it's a very good car. I don't think anyone really likes it though. That's the thing. It's used to be quite slow quite early, and then it kind of got a little bit perked up. But it is a surprisingly quick car. I'm not really sure why. I think it's got very good downforce. But yeah, a little not the most nicest sounding car as well.
Do you reckon track limit warning on that one, or is he slow enough?
Yeah, I think he was slow enough that it would have been a no time to gain on that case. And I think Babby was just like, yeah, he obviously went off the track before. I think a little bit compromised, because while I was trying to do his line, he couldn't really do his line to a degree he would have liked, as well as having like the kind of GT2s on the in and the outside of where he was. He couldn't really swing out, because you kind of have to. That's the thing with the S's. That's what makes it so difficult. You use so much of the track. You don't really stick to any side of it for that long. You kind of have to use all of it, and to do the line. And let's see, it's going to happen to the best of us out there, to say the least. To see, we're nearly halfway through this race. It completely shocks me is how much as they're going around the outside of Logan Byrne in the Mercedes. and they just about get through. I'm interested to see, these guys are racing so hard right now. It's just like, they still got a pit stop to do. They could all be decided in that, frankly.
But these two really definitely got to get it right. Oh!
Not sure what happened there. It's like the Janetta went around the outside of Degna 1 of a TCX car. And I think that TCX BMW just fell off as a result as well. Yep, a little bit of the inside curb to bounce, and the GT2s just arrive on scene in a half a second, and they're already coming through. It's just the speed of these GT2s. They're pretty much doing GT3 times. It's kind of a little bit unfair on the other two classes. As Bradley gets closer and closer, but not close enough at the right time to make much of it. Mir goes a little bit wide, but retains the apex for the second part of Spoon Curve. They're coming up to the GT4 Cayman of Joshua Holmes as well. These two have been inseparable.
It's literally like in the corners, Rose is getting away, Rackmat's coming back on the straights, and then just throwing a little bit of this and that from getting past the traffic. There's just nothing in it. It could literally be a good pit stop decides these two.
Or a bad negotiated traffic. As I said, a bunch of TCXs up ahead for those leaders. To see Jaden on Anella is exiting the pits. Just see how the leaders are negotiating that first couple of TCXs. Get through him a little bit. Jaden's there as well. Yeah. Apologies to the other classes, but it's just it's too hard to take our eyes away. If they were racing this close to the other classes, we'll be watching as well. But it's just too entertaining, frankly.
Pack behind them. Oh my.
I think they managed to catch them at the straight, thankfully.
I think that was a bit of traffic coming in from the pit as well, but yeah, like, wow.
Yeah, there's the GT4 leader, Lucas Keys, and he gets a little bit bullied off the line as a result. Lucas kind of in his own world a little bit still, but 4 seconds ahead of not Jaden Holmes, Josh Holmes. Negotiating a couple of slow cars. They should hopefully clear them before the turning point. Yes, they do. So they're all safe on that regards. It is crazy, the speed difference between these cars. It's a blockbuster. It's very entertaining, but it could go so wrong with just the smallest of errors. See quite a lot of people coming in to do their stops now. We see Taufik Dipperers obviously did an early stop, Underwood's did a stop, as well as Ronald McDowell for the GT2 class. Burns come in as well for the GT4s. And Atiake in the KTM GT4. Paul Kranich here. And oh my god, there's a fight for the lead between the two leaders.
Look away for 1 second.
Rackmat was on the outside, did get ahead by point at the timing board by 1,000th and had a run. Mia retains the inside line, the defensive line, as they would, as Fadley is trying to get ahead but won't be ahead enough. There's a small little rub, and that's all fair as well. And I think Mia was entitled to take the inside line. They were pretty much side by side into that corners as Mia comes into the pits. Very interesting. Right on the halfway mark.
Did Fadley come in as well, or Fadley is out?
Got to put in some laps, I will say. And unfortunately, I'm going to be my knowledge is going to suffer a little bit. Maybe a race director can confirm or not if he knows. But if the GT2s have tire warmers or not. No tire warmers for GT2s.
Ooh,
so
okay.
Same with GT4s. I know the GT4s didn't have tire warmers, so yeah, the out lap is, and probably even the second lap is pretty rough when you come out of the pits on fresh tires, because they're just going to be absolutely stone cold.
I wonder if that actually is going to be suiting Rackmat then, because in my experience, warming up those cold tires is tricky stuff.
Yeah, it is pretty brutal. So, obviously, Rackmat will suffer when, he comes in to do his tire stop as well. But if he retains track position, and generally if you are, if you've got the straight line superiority as well, it's a lot more favorable. And obviously the runner between the traffic, whoever gets the better run, not getting held up with other traffic cars, can be to determine the gap between these two, if there is a gap. It's going to be very interesting to see.
Chat is pointing out we have another stop and go 30. I can't see what that is though.
Oh dear. Yeah, I think always do your pit lane entry practices. Make sure, I'm sure obviously no one to say, obviously make sure your pit lane button is mapped. Your pit limiter does help quite a lot. See, Fadley's in. But to be honest, it is catching a lot of cars out here. It is quite a bit of a deceptive entry because you carry a lot of speed in, but it's actually quite bumpy, pretty much where you want to brake at Suzuka. And it does catch a lot of people out, especially in the wet as well. So, frankly, it's pretty... frankly, we're not in the normal Suzuka conditions. Bradley's going now. He's a little bit early in the lane. Oh, he's got two cars. What's that on the side of his car? That's the fucking... sorry, my language. He's got the...
It's going to be close.
He's got the pit lane board on his car. He's got other cars to negotiate as well. He's going to be thankfully ahead. And he is going. We'll see if Mir is going alongside of him. No, they're going to be scuppered. It's very close. And
someone else's drive-through.
There it's gone.
Goodbye.
Mir's got the warmer tires right now, and Fadley needs to get his rapidly up to temperature, but Mir needs to make this move now because we saw the straight line speed of the Maserati, and I think Fadley's gonna hold it a lot more easily if he retains this position. He's got the faster car on the straights, and it's all for Mir to do right now, and every corner that she doesn't get the overtake done, the tires are just coming up to temperature for the Maserati. I'm not sure she can really get it done because it's going to be so tough. It's really not easy to pass here in the grand scheme of things. We saw how much Fadley struggled, and he had the straight lane speed advantage. So close.
I don't know. They've got a little bit of a gap to the rest of the field as well, so it's just going to be them for a bit. Also, it looks like Burton in GT4 got the drive-through, which they were a bit of a front runner. Not great for them.
Yeah, they were in the top three for GT4, so unfortunately that's not going to aid their standing, to say the least. And we'll promote. I think Joshua Holmes and Carl Johnson were already ahead of him before we got the drive-through. So it's looking good for those guys. Oh, as Fadley gets stubborn by the M2, and Mir knows it. Mir knows it. Tries to send it, but doesn't really put the long car on hand. But the space is given by Fadley, and she goes around the outsiders subsequently as well. So she's gotten the move done. But here's Fadley again in the V6 twin turbo Maserati NC20. Right up behind the rear wing, goes to the outside. Mir's going to hug the inside for as much as they can. There's cars coming out of the pit lane. Fadley's going to try and hold it around the outside, but the KTM's got the inside line and is ahead. So great job there by Via Rose. Well, good space given by Fadley as well into the chicane. I was quite surprised.
Rose absolutely made that happen there, diving down the inside. It was almost faking the move outside back to in.
I think it was the faking of it. I don't think she was actually alongside with Fadley, but Fadley gave her room.
Yeah.
You might have to get a replay on that one if you can, Mr. Director.
Yeah.
No, please, it's Christmas. That's all right. We saw it as there is. Oh, there's the other Pit Viper car trying to negotiate. Team orders. Must be. Probably not. Don't worry.
I think it was crucial for Rose to get that move done, though. She probably had this lap, maybe, because the tires wouldn't have been all the way there, but absolutely excellent stuff.
And that shows they're just unlucky with the traffic. Like Fadley caught that TCX BMW right at the pretty much apex of 130R. he couldn't have done anything there. He just had to, you just had to stop the car. Like, you obviously, don't go into the back of the car just because it's slower. You actually get the car stopped, which he did. And Mira's like, let me go. What are you doing racing me?
Yeah, for Mia as well, it was almost like a bit of an M2 jump scare, because Rakhmat moved a bit and I was like, oh, there's a car.
Yeah, it was a little bit sketchy, and that's just unfortunately part of the multi-class racing. Sometimes you live by the sword, die by the sword. Oh my god, Fadley all over sideways. Likes to get the power down nice and early in the Maserati, and I think I'm not sure if he is running TC off, but he was in qualifying. Wouldn't be too surprised. Catching the Alpine, the little dinky Alpine now of Mark Bushell.
Very small in comparison to those GT2s.
Yeah, TC off for Fadley. Confirming what we can see, pretty much.
I was going to say, you could probably have a good guess at that with some of the corrections that they're having to do through Casio.
You can see Fadley, though. He's definitely got the temperature up. And I think there's going to be a hard slog fight all the way to the end, as looks like the GT2 and GT4s are fighting up ahead. Unfortunately, going to scupper the leaders. They have to stop and have to brake. The Audi and the McLaren, and these guys are lapped down. Even the GT2s. Oh my goodness! Oh no, that's really. What can I say?
Scaring me.
Yeah, it's the Audi.
Was that a GT4 or GT2 Audi?
That was a GT2 Audi. Oh, Fadley gets closer in the draft. It's really catching Mir very quickly as well. But Mir's doing a great job to retain this lead, but we see the speed as well of Fadley. I've been talking about how quick the car is on the straight, but he's still doing a great job through the corners as well. It's not all just he's not just here because he has the power. He's doing a great job, and we all know how quick Fadley Rakhmat is.
I think Mia is definitely just not going to let him have it. Oh, a bit squirrely again for Rakhmat, but she's taking all those inside lines when he's that close. Like, he is going to have to just take it, like Rose did earlier in Casio.
He's kind of catching her. Like, he's quicker down the straights, but he's like. I think the good exit of the KTM is helping things, because he's kind of catching. When he does catch and pull alongside it, they're pretty much at the corner already, and where obviously Mia is smart enough to take to hold the inside line. So it's really not that easy. So Jean-Pierre Sneakers in the pits.
If Rakhmat can clean up that Casio a little bit, they can hopefully get a bit better exit speed onto the pit straight. Because we keep seeing them a bit of an overcorrection after taking the curbs.
Jean-Pierre completes his mandatory stop. Fortunately for the TCX, they were behind Sasha Def at the start, but I'm not sure what happened to Sasha Def, and it looks like they're no longer the leader, or even not sure where they are in the TCX class. Quite far down, so it looks like they have been scuppered at some point. I've used that word too much this time, but namesake death has probably happened to Death at some point, or just an incident that unfortunately is unfortunately lost the lead. Also to Chris Murphy as well, so there is quite a gap between all three of those leading TCX classes. Is she? Okay. Ignore it. I'm a commentator, I don't know what I'm talking about.
It's okay, the sectors hadn't updated yet after Sonicus took the pit.
Yeah, makes sense.
So it looks like Sasha's taken the lead through Sonicus's pit there.
Mike, you can't say this.
Shows what we know. She sells. Jeez Louise. We're back again, half a second probably. We're doing it once more. One more dance, please, Mia.
18 minutes of this, thank you.
I'll take it. It's great. It's great racing.
Absolutely.
I still think Rackmat should have kept the pit lane sign. It was a lovely accessory for that Maserati.
Yeah. But, you know, if it was actually simulated, it definitely wouldn't be aiding the downforce or the speed.
No, but a girl could dream.
Yeah. Just make the car wider. 560 is yellow flagged, I think, in the pit lane. I'm not sure what's going on there. 560, I know the number. That is H. Murphy. Not sure what's happening there. They seem to be going as badly up the inside of Degner 2. I'm looking at the timing board and not looking at the action. And something has happened subsequently as a result.
You can't look away. You look away for 1 second
no,
something happens. Oh, no! Oh, Rose almost copped the tail end of that. But Rose went a little bit wide in Degner 1. Rackmat capitalized, and then that just happened. We've got F's in the chat.
Yeah, looks like they gave the BMW a small tap, did Fadley Rackmat, so might be privy to a protest there. And all happens subsequently. Now, still technically not fighting for the lead, as Sean Bubnow is doing an endurance run. I did see a small flash there from Mira Rose on Fadley, so I'm not sure what that was about. Maybe because they saw that they took out a TCX as like, ha, you should self-penalize yourself and give me the lead back. As there was a half spin for the BMW, not that doesn't really gain you much favor in points.
Appreciate this replay through Spoon, but I believe the contact occurred at Kobayashi. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, the tech doesn't let us go that far back. Mia wants this back, though. This is just... they're blow for blow right now, punch for punch.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they're able to respond. And Sean Bubnow has come in for his pit stop, so this is, obviously for the lead, as it would have been before, but now we can say officially. Few more cars, as I said, like this. You can look at the track map. There's, good luck finding any reasonably sized gap that doesn't shrink in like the next 5 seconds.
The track map literally looks like a deck has been shuffled, kind of thing. Like it's like GT2, GT4, TCX, GT2, GT2, GT4.
It looks like with the figure array, it actually looks like one of those DNA helixes. Think your shit on the TCX is 1, 2, and maybe 3 on the straights. Oh, that's a Camaro.
I think that's a Camaro.
Still blow past it regardless. As the GT2s are. Yeah, not surprising they can kind of match GT3 times. They don't have the GT3 downforce, but they have more power, sometimes up to 100 or 200 horsepower more than the GT3s. So I think the AMG GT2 does push out 700 horsepower, which is barbaric, frankly.
Fair shake of the sauce bottle.
Yeah.
So, do we think Sonicus can close 9 seconds in 15 minutes?
On pace, or when we flip the coin when there's a car coming around to a lap?
Bit of both, I guess.
Anything can happen.
A bit of luck with the traffic.
Anything can happen, and we see with the leaders. Even if you are the quicker cars, you are just as susceptible to the luck of the draw with how you catch the cars ahead. I think he can do it, but equally, I think that Sasha can have a clean run.
What was Sasha doing? A little bit of a slide for that AMG. What was Sasha doing in qualifying? I believe they were right neck and neck, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. I think it was between Babby and Sanikas for the pole position honors, but I think Sasha Deck was right there as well. You can't claim any car differences in the TCX class, that's for sure. But obviously a little bit of a how your run goes. Let's see, Regan Herbert here. Someone had a bit of a tumultuous start as well at the start of this race. We did see that GT4 BMW. And Nippers, well, yeah, Taufik's not slow, but he's 20 seconds pretty much off the leaders now. Just shows you the league those two are in.
I was going to say, I think as I hinted at before, those two are in a bit of a league of their own. They're GT 1.9 and the rest of the field is in GT2.
Yeah, and Nippers, he did do an early stop, so he's done a good job. Let's see, McLaughlin, the Maserati, negotiating the traffic as well. Let's see, Fadlet's brought out a bit of a gap.
Looks like as well we've got a second sort of battle pack. Taufik and Nippers are pretty close together, and then it's another 8 seconds down to Underwood. And Underwood has Murphy pretty close behind them.
Indeed.
So we've got dance partners for this salsa, if you will. Yeah,
it looks like the gap remains between the GT4 leaders as well, between Lucas and Josh Holmes. Has extended a little bit in favor of Lucas, but Josh is keeping him honest, and all it takes is just one bad run with the traffic and one little incident, it can all come undone. And the adage of finish first you have to finish, will live on for eternity, because it will never not be relevant.
It's never over until it's over.
No. Ask any Brazilian in 2008.
What happened in 2008?
No, the F1 World Championship.
I only started watching F1 this season, I'm not going to lie.
Okay.
It's been a good season to start.
Just to summarize it for you, basically, Lewis Hamilton took the championship on the last lap.
Ooh.
And all the Brazilians were for Felipe Massa taking the championship, and just one lap right at the end, the last lap of the final round, and that's all it took. But maybe we won't talk much further about last laps.
We have
a few years ago before that, because that was a.
Looks like Pano's made up quite a few positions, considering I believe they were one of the people that were really, I'm going to use your word here, scuppered. Scuppered or scuffed?
Scuppered.
Scuppered. They were scuppered at the beginning. So good on them.
Yes. We did see that early incident. Lose me of who the drivers were now. I think Liam Cabe was one of them. He was the KTM who got fired off and then fired into another car, kind of out of control. So he's done a good job to kind of make his way back up through the field, and he's already got Lucas Keys to displace. We never really got to the bottom of what happened there, but I don't know. If I was to judge, like the way he went flying off to the inside wall suggested he was assisted.
Yeah, it's a battle one KTM there, but yes, I think your earlier analysis sounded pretty accurate, because it was a bit of a inside outside hit a car, and then they're both having a trip in the sand.
Like I've experimented many ways of getting turn one wrong. Finding the inside wall is very difficult.
Yeah, fair. And so Rose has brought this back to half a second. We are not done until the fat lady sings.
Yeah.
Or until a random celebrity waves that flag.
Until Fat Lady sings.
Nice.
That was terrible.
No, I liked it. That was good.
But yes, as I said, it's really not over until it's over. One little incident, as we saw, like with Fadley, he was ahead after the pit stops, but it took one little BMW at 130R Apex, just doing their own thing, and that's all can happen. And it's really Hero Zero. Like see why people love multi-class racing. It can be incredibly frustrating, but it is just like it's so addictive as well. Like just negotiating the traffic and having done endurance races where you're kind of just like in no man's land, just doing stints all in the same. Oh my god, there's a car park up ahead.
Oh my word.
That's Sneakers. Oh, around the outside as Mia goes. Thankfully, season cupping, and there's a yellow TCX car. I don't think, no, that's not such a def. I was going to say that gap hasn't come down that much. But then negotiating, thankfully, no TCXs were harmed in those passings. And looks like there is.
Very good passing through the S's there. That was about 3 or 4 cars.
Yeah. They got battling GT2s up ahead of Piano and Rondinella, so this will be interesting. Wide from Fadley as well there. Get it all swapped up and wrong. Haven't seen any drive-throughs for track limits yet, so maybe I was wrong on that front as Piano gets well out of the way.
Having a look! Bit of a slide! Can Rose make it down the straight? That Maserati looks like it's pulling away, and she's taking the wider line, extending out the track there. But that's all it takes. You keep that pressure on.
Yeah. Yeah, it looked like Fadley got like, a little bit wide through the hairpin, and with the TC off, the wily old exit as well.
Yeah, a bit of a lead foot there, getting it a bit sideways.
Got the Mercedes, and Jaden gets well out the way, offline, backs out of it as well, does a good job. They got
Team orders
Regan
again?
Herbert. Yeah, maybe. Not going to get a say in about it. The blast past, and maybe the team on team violence might hurt Mia a little bit.
No, TCX way out of the way. Good stuff.
Did lose some time though because she had to go around the outside.
I was gonna say Rose for Rakhmat's wide moment there didn't really come out a winner.
Yeah, they were kind of like they got alongside, but then they were going to be on the outside as the corner turns right. That's a broken TCX. As they negotiate the GT4 KTM. There's so many different manufacturers and classes.
Yeah, Rose is taking the outside there.
Yeah, it's hurt Rose a little bit there. It's the ebbs and flows, how you catch them. It's just part and parcel of racing.
Yeah, multi-class racing.
Imagine what it's going to be like. We're going to have like 60 cars around the Nordschleife. Granted, all in the same class. Imagine if we were doing this at the Nordschleife.
No, thank you.
Boo. We'll be going to Silverstone next week, though, I believe, for the final round of this Trio Series. It is definitely been a lot cleaner than last week. It's been very entertaining for us as commentators. We have definitely not struggled to talk about anything that's happening. There's definitely been everything happening all the time, every lap.
It's been good. It's been... Sorry, go ahead.
No, you continue.
Oh, it's been really good racing. We're not just seeing a bunch of, I don't know what you call it, car park shenanigans. People parked across the track. Especially hats off to Rakhmat and Rose. Like, this has just been incredible.
Yeah, I think a few people have also learned. I think also, people probably learned also how to kind of maybe like stick to the lines a little bit. Not to say that those were people at fault before, but it's just like, I think everyone's just a little bit more familiar. Obviously, the first race is always going to be a little bit chaotic. It's always going to be a little bit different. It's going to even Fadiano here and Jaden Rongmanilla. Ooh, caught up behind the TCX. But he's going to be on the outside. He's now going to be blocking the Maserati. That perfectly shows up the ebbs and flows. Blocked the Mercedes, and then the Maserati got blocked. So all is fair.
Oh, yeah. All fair and lovable. I think everyone has learned a bit of that patience I was asking for in the beginning, and like picking their spots a bit better. And then people are either staying on their line when they need to be, or moving when appropriate. Oh,
that's a terrible rejoin.
I think that
McLaren GT4.
That might be my first commentator's curse.
Yeah, we were just talking about the standards.
So good.
Someone just had to absolutely sink it like the Titanic.
We're saying, well done. And yeah.
Yeah, well done. Yeah, I mean, it's not surprised. If it was going to happen, it was going to happen when we were giving out the compliments. Yeah. It looks like the GT4 McLaren, they kind of rejoined right onto the racing line, and unfortunately, a T6 BMW, paid dearly for it.
Yeah, chat's also talking about their own curse.
Yeah.
Chat's asking for a replay of Mia through T1, but it's probably going to be a bit too late at this point for what we've got. What's their gap? May I see, please?
Quite a bit. Oh, Mia's got a drive-through as well. Oh, no.
No.
That must be for track limits. Dear. Oh, no. Well, regardless, they've put on a good show. And I think they'll probably still retain P2 with the lead that they've got. Also, they haven't come in, and there's less than 2 minutes to go, so I'm not sure if they can serve. Oh, they'll just, of course, they'll just take the, I keep forgetting it doesn't hurt you as much as you don't get the big slap, you get an equal time amount slap. And it's already pretty much the end of the race. As I said, time's flown by, frankly. And Jean-Pierre has closed the gap a little bit to Sasha Def, down to 6 seconds, but it's going to be a bit too little, too late.
Got to drive through for Sean Brimblecombe as well.
Oh no, that's the other Pit Viper car. That's the same team.
Oh no. The Pit Vipers are going to have a bit of a team chat about track limits after this.
Excellent team synergy.
Yeah. Well, all for one for all. Also, applause for Sonicus. So, what did I say? 15-second gap with 15 to go.
I think it was around 9.
Was it 9? Okay. I mean, it's still a valiant effort.
Yep, absolutely. And, all 4 wheels upright.
Absolutely. Very important thing.
Oh, Smart Bus was trying to get past Sasha Def there. Caught him a little bit out there. I find it funny that the BMW has 2 more cylinders than that Alpine, and is slower on the straights because of the BOP. And this should be the final lap as the timer ticks 0. Fadley negotiates the last couple of cars, power slides out of the way as he likes to do. He's just... he loves to showboat. As he comes across the line to win the second round here at Suzuka for the Trio Series in the Maserati. We'll see if he gets protested with that BMW at the hairpin. Let's see if anything comes of that, but we shall see. 30-second conversion for Mia Rose comes in second, and probably won't retain P2. So imagine we'll go to Taupik as he comes up to the line now. As GT4 has also crossed the line as well. So, Lucas Keys wins from Josh Holmes. And then Carl Johnson makes up the top 3 for them. We'll obviously go through all the official positions, but well done to the class winners. Speaking of our last class winner, it is Sasha Def in the TCX BMW. Doing a great job out there. I'm not sure what happened to them. I mean, they died at the start, but it looks like they haven't come up through the field, so it suggests they haven't actually finished the race either. Oh dear.
I was going to say, I hope everyone's a bit clear of at least the finish line. There's a lot of bumper cars happening in the sand. Oh, no, we don't want to see that.
No. Those two, I think, are going to be they're in the same team speak, so I think they know that, but don't do that with people you don't know, at least.
No, yes, fingers can get hurt.
Yeah, those guys are in the same team speak. I think that one's okay.
Okay, alright. I'll put my pitchfork away.
Yeah.
Big congrats to Rackmat, though. I mean, Rose had the pressure on the whole time. I mean, they were back and forth, as I said, punch to punch. Oh, a big slide. Woo! Let's go.
Yeah, great car control from Fadley. Been pretty much racing with TC off the whole way. And
that is a battle-worn car to earn that.
Yeah, I don't think any car's going to be without scratches tonight. As a donation, it's the last couple of cars crossed the line. That'll be it for tonight, this Wednesday night, Suzuka. Great job.
Rackmatch showing off now. I commented on their little bit of slides, and they say, "You want slides, Blake? I'll give you slides." Oh, fantastic racing.
Green line.
Indeed. We'll go to the official results now for TCX. It will be Sasha Def, followed by Jean-Pierre Sneakers, and then Chris Murphy in the M2 CSs. And for GT4, Lucas Keys, followed by Josh Holmes, and then Carl Johnson in the Janetta. And finally, overall, the GT2 class, Fadley Rackmat, followed by Moin Taufik and Matt Nippers, as well as Mir's penalty puts them all the way down to 4. So, unfortunate there. I think it was quite late. Only in the last couple of laps is that penalty comments, which is quite unfortunate. But that's the way it goes a little bit. And great racing by Mir Rose and Fadley Rackmat, regardless. That'll round us off for Suzuka. Final thoughts, Blake?
I think it was a much better race than the first race of the series, just in terms of things we talked about, like patience and like when to pass and stuff. And yeah, it was really, really great racing. So I'm glad that people have taken the things the race director told them in stride from last time. I'm looking forward to Silverstone next week.
Absolutely. And thank you to the race directors as well. Everyone who puts on this event. We obviously organised had the gaps implemented between the classes. But I've been Cameron Thistleplate. Been joined by Blake Griffiths on commentary. Great job. I think it's your commentary debut, as well as
Indeed
Mike.
It was.
Yeah, did a very fine job at home. And Mike Cricky on the cameras. You're very welcome. Hopefully you'll be here for next time around. This time next week, 8 p.m. I don't know, Eastern time, whatever it is, daylight or not daylights.
Yeah.
I don't remember what things are. This time next week. Yes, next week for Silverstone for the final round. Thank you, and good night.